Guess what I got for you? Ah! Finally managed to convince myself that I needed to whine. I'm so tired right now. Focus. I finally got on with chapter 3, so I just closed the book. And now I'm kind of like, ugh. So for those of you who weren't with me last time, we've been introduced to our protagonist, Anastasia Steele. She's totally like chilling it out with Christian Grey, who's all like dark and moody, and he's totally hot. And you know, in this chapter, we actually have interaction between the two of them in a casual setting. We get to hear all about it. So cool. Kate is totally giving her the like Spanish Inquisition, like, what was he doing at the hardware store? Blah 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 blah. Da 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 da. And then Kate busts out like, oh, he's given the farming division of WSU a $2.5 million grant. And she's like, fucking do you know this? She's like, yeah, I'm a journalist. Dude, you're a student. Let's not over-exaggerate here. Jump the gun. And then Kate goes on and is like, the richest, most elusive, most enigmatic bachelor gave you a cell phone number? Clearly. And at the end, then Anna's like, wow, he's just trying to be nice. But then she thinks to herself, Christian doesn't do nice. How do you know? You don't know the man. Derp. And her subconscious totally hugging itself. Like, she's hugging herself and rocking side to side, which is not crazy at all. And anyway, she's all like, blah. And then Kate says, we need to do this photo shoot. So they're like, okay, cool, we'll get Jose, whose name is Rodriguez. Jose Rodriguez, which is like the single most stereotypical name you can give to anyone who's Hispanic. So that's kind of like, I think that's weird. It would be like asking someone for a Japanese name and going Ayumi Takahashi. Those are like the two most common names, or John Smith or something. Freaking originality. Where is it? So they're like asking Jose, and he's like, no, I'm not very good at that. Which is like, if you're not comfortable with it, don't do it. You shouldn't force it. But Kate's like, fuck that. And like yanks the phone away and is all throwing her silky red blonde hair everywhere like fucking Pantene is sponsoring her. And then is all yelling at him like, dude, you're gonna do this photo shoot whether you like it or not, and then blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, here, Anna, since Christian gave you his phone number, you should be the one to call him. And Anna's like, no, my God. So she does this. She starts like, friggin', she calls him, and then it says, he sounds so warm, seductive even. My breath hitches, and I flush, because she's always fucking blushing. And then she's totally aware that Kate staring at her is like, if I was watching my friend on the phone go, hi, I'd be like, what? I would be like staring. That's ridiculous. And she's like gushy and freaking out. And then when she hangs up, Kate looks at her and goes, Anastasia Rose Steele. She totally had to have some god-awful Mary Sue name to be able to do this properly. I mean, like, seriously? Oh my god, that's terrible. That's just one of those names where you're like, clearly your mom lurks the romance novel section of Barnes & Noble for new releases. She named you something like that. Ugh! And then she's all like, you totally like him because you were actually blushing. I'm like, that is totally not new news. And for once, our protagonist seems a little bit self-aware because she even goes, Kate, you know I blush all the time. Duh! It's written on like every page. I've actually started like underlining in blue, if you can see it, where she blushes, mutters, or murmurs. The highlighting are where it's discussed how attractive Christian Grey is in some way, shape, or form, and then the red is just things I find funny in notes and stuff. I don't know why I'm telling you that. You know, it's just in my book. So then they make, oh, I love this part. They make reservations at the hotel. He's staying at this really, really, really nice hotel. And then it says here, Kate has managed to acquire the use of a room at the Heathman free of charge for the morning in exchange for a credit in the article. No. No, 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 no. If he's as rich and famous as you say he is, he's gonna stay in some super posh, fancy hotel like the Willard in DC, or, you know, fucking wherever, anywhere else. And no hotel like that's ever gonna be like, oh, you'll credit us in a student newspaper? Have a nice suite. And then, like, freaking Christian Grey shows up in the, like, room and they set up and stuff. And they, once again, Anna says how beautiful Kate is because you can't, like, freaking do that. And then Christian, like, says hello to her and she's all blushing and stuff. Oh, my favorite part is earlier when she calls him. I skipped this. I can't believe I did that. And she calls his cell phone. He picks up and he goes, Grey. Whenever he answers the phone now, I'm just gonna be like, purple! Like, This is Christian Grey speaking, or hello. No, Grey. That's how you're feeling today. Is that really how you feel? Awesome! Sky's blue. Friggin' anyway, we're continuing. So they all show up, and then Kate shakes his hand real firm, and Anna reminds herself that Kate has been to the best private schools in Washington. Her family has money, and she's grown up confident and sure of her place in the world. So they do the photo shoot, and like, Christian's talking to her, and Jose's all scowling and shit. And Christian's all like, "Do you want to go for coffee?" And she freaks the fuck out. And then he smiles at her all dazzling, unguarded, natural, and all teeth showing when she says she's gonna go. So like, fucking okay. And so they go, and then she goes and is like, Kate's like, "Don't go, he's dangerous." And then she goes out, and Christian's waiting for her like a model. And you know, models have weird poses. So and she says he's leaning against a stone wall. So I imagine him leaning on it like this. Or like some weird way where you're just like, male models have that kind of like moody kind of like going on. I've had too much wine. And so they get into the elevator, and there's a young couple that was like totally macking in there, which is like, it's an elevator, dude, whatever. And then for no like reason, he takes her hand. He's just like, "Oh, you guys gonna mac? Womp." And then they go out, and she's like all freaking out and stuff, and she orders English breakfast tea, and they start talking about stupid stuff, of course. And where do we get what's interesting? She asks about her life, and we find out that her mom is married to her fourth husband, and Anna's father died when she was young, and she lived with her mom's second husband. It's this guy named Ray, or I think his name's Ray. So she lived with Ray, and that was kind of like her father figure. And then she murmurs that Paris is lovely after Christian's like, "My little sister is in Paris to study under a French chef." And then she says, well, he asks, "Would you want to go to Paris?" And she says, "Oh yeah, totally, but I want to go to English because it's the home of Shakespeare, Austen, the Bronte sisters, and Thomas Hardy." God, could you be any more of a Mary Sue? Can we change her name from Anastasia Steele to Mary Sue? Because I like this idea. And then he smiles, says, "Odd, I've got a whopping big secret." And his big secret is that secretly he'd like to kill you like the rest of us would. Don't be so scared. And then he randomly asks her, "Do you always wear jeans?" This is on par with his question from last chapter when he asked her about rope and then went, "Were you a Girl Scout?" Freaky. Freaky. I think Kate's onto something when she was like, "He's dangerous." This dude's still a fucking psycho. He's gonna like murder you in the shower. And then she asks him, she's grilling him, totally grilling him, and before that, he goes, "You interviewed me once already, and I can relect some quite probing questions." And then she goes, "Holy shit, he's remembering the gay question." I think if someone asked me in an interview about my life if I was gay, I would totally remember that for like the rest of my life, because it'd be like, what a random question. And then she asks him, does he have a girlfriend? He goes, "No, I don't do the girlfriend thing." And then she all starts freaking out in her head and steps in front of a motorcyclist, and Christian like yanks her back because he's been holding her hand. Oh yeah, they did go out to coffee, by the way. I didn't think that was important enough to mention. And then she's leaning on him, and she inhales his clean, wholesome scent. He smells of freshly laundered linen and some expensive body wash. It's intoxicating. And he goes, "Are you okay?" He's not like, "Good God, are you okay?" He literally whispers at her. Like, what? And then he's like touching her face and stuff like, "Are you okay?" Like, I don't get this. Ah, friggin'. I should read the next one in real time because, oops, I just scrolled through 2 chapters. This was kind of a longer chapter, and I can't seem to find chapter 5. So here's chapter 4, and I keep like, maybe I'm flipping over because I'm just flipping the pages really quickly, and I keep ending up right on chapter 6. I'm like, did they just not include a chapter 5? Oh no, they did. That totally would have been the highlight if they skipped chapter 5. Like, 5's not important. 5's not important. There's a lot of stuff is not okay in this book. And let me just preface this with, I've read Twilight. All 4 books, right? I read the 4. Well, the 4 that were part of the original series I read. Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse, and Breaking Dawn. I read all 4 of those books, and I would rather read those than this. And I haven't gotten to any of the fun parts yet. Like, people keep saying, like, there's a bunch of, like, awkward stuff in here. I'm not there yet. I mean, this is awkward in and of itself. But I'm at the end of chapter 5 right now, and the line that sticks out at me is, "Never trust a man who can dance." So apparently, in addition to being a supermodel god who's also rich and gives grants willy-nilly, he can dance. I just need to start making a list of everything that makes this man, like, totally perfect, or whatever. Subscribe to my channel. I make a lot of opinionated videos, and I read this when I can make myself do it. I feel like this project's going to take me a lot longer. I feel like this project's going to take me way longer than I originally anticipated, but I promise you I'm going to get through it. Bug me, please. Please. Like, if you want to see more, be like, dude, you need to, whoops, do this stuff. Thank you guys so much. Love you. Sorry this took forever. I'll see you next time.